Can I ask you guys a question?
But
How much do you love me?
I love you so much. Just fucking kill him. Just fucking kill him, Raging. Just fucking kill him right now. Yes! Let's go, you piece of shit! You! You too! Where the fuck is that ogre's dead body? Where's that piece of shit, you little
Are you at the middle if you want to run aim? Or whoever's in the middle.
There's a reason for the amount of foul language you just heard. No, it wasn't because I was angry and ready to throw Destiny's latest expansion out the window. No, it wasn't because I realized I'm terrible at video games and had to take my anger out on pieces of digital code. The reason is simple. The first Nightfall strike of Rise of Iron was the perfect amount of difficulty and fun. The foul words were remarks of rejoice after a long and tough road of failed strategies and fire team wipes. Plus, all three of us were about 20 levels beneath the recommended light level, so being that weak and defeating something so powerful and daunting, it sent me into a maelstrom of excitement and profanity. And that's one of the great factors about Rise of Iron. Some goals are literally impossible to achieve without being high enough light level, but then there are some quests, bosses, and strikes that are possible at lower light levels, but only if you incorporate great strategy and teamwork. This is funny to me, because if you asked me if strategy and teamwork were evident in old vanilla Destiny, I would have laughed at the question and went on my merry way playing Halo. Destiny has come a long way since the atrocious product Activision thought would actually appeal to people. And as I said in my first impressions article last week, Destiny's first two expansions added sugar to a very dull cereal. But it was Taken King that added the milk, turning it into a bowl of cereal worth eating. And now with Rise of Iron, while it may not be as monumental or as large as Taken King, this sweet expansion adds blueberries to that excellent bowl of cereal. Don't like blueberries with your cereal? Don't worry. Rise of Iron will surely turn you into a fan with its difficulty, new zone and raid, and more exciting endeavors you can enjoy by yourself and with your friends.
Carrying the left. You know that, right?
I have no idea.
I'm not carrying the left.
Middle. 3,
Left.
2, 1, go.
In the graphics department, there's nothing new or destructive, unless you're on last generation systems. Destiny is still as beautiful as ever in its latest expansion. Where the expansion shines is with its new playable zone. The Cosmodrome, or the planet Earth, now has a new zone for Guardians to wreak havoc through. It's called the Plaguelands, and with the exception of some sections where it's obvious the developers reskinned old Cosmodrome locations, this place is a joy to play through and to look at. For one thing, Rise of Iron has brought wintry blizzards to Destiny. The Plaguelands are a snow-ridden wasteland, complete with a crashed tanker, icy ocean, mysterious underground caves, and a fiery forge. The first time you lay your eyes upon Archon's forge, your breath will be taken away because while it is gorgeous, one would never expect Destiny, the game that has been under a lot of friendly controversy for years, to create something so epic and intimidating. Taken King might have blown us away with its presence of a story and extensive main questline, but Rise of Iron wins in the category of introducing a fabulous-looking new playable zone. I just wish all of the locations were actually new. As I said before, there are a few sections in the Plaguelands where it's obvious Bungie stole from the Cosmodrome and reskinned them for the holiday season. But with this wintry package deal comes the new enemies of Destiny, the Splicers. These are augmented versions of the Guardians' arch-enemies, the Fallen. Their designs are more than the addition of a few new colors. The legs of the dregs are now swords, which they use as melee weapons during close-quarters combat. The Vandals and Captains enrage when there's a Siva shield generator around, causing their veins of Siva to glow bright red. The Shanks are as annoying as ever, and even though they have the most subtle of design changes, they are the most intimidating enemies out of the new crop. All in all, the Splicers look great, but I wish the developers went above and beyond like they did with the Taken. My rating for graphics and design is a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
you have to,
Okay,
and I
that's
guess
actually-
in order to be able to hit them
Oh,
or hit him enough, we all have to coordinate it and have all three up at the same time.
The game's mechanics are still the same, which doesn't give or take away any points from this category. The newest and most exciting addition is the Iron Axe, which is presented to Guardians in Strikes, the Raid, and Forges. It controls the exact same way as the sword did in vanilla Destiny, but its aggressive and dominating attacks make it an absolute blast to use. The style of the Strikes, quests, and Crucibles are relatively the same. The new Supremacy mode in Crucible is a knockoff of Call of Duty's Kill Confirmed game mode. But even if it is a knockoff, I've had some of the most fun I've ever had within the Crucible because of it. I'm really not much of a PvP guy, but Supremacy makes me excited to hop into the Crucible when I'm bored. Archon's Forge is a zone in the Plaguelands where Guardians present Siva offerings in order to take on challenges. There are 3 kinds of offerings, each presenting a different challenge. The Fused offerings present the easiest, Enhanced offerings are medium difficulty, and Perfected offerings offer the hardest experience. Be careful though. Forges are addicting. With the amount of reputation and engrams you can gain, and with how a new offering seems to drop for your fire team after every challenge, you will find yourself doing Forges for hours, and you'll never get tired of them. So if you have other things to do throughout the day, stay away from the Forges and go complete some milestones in your record book. The record book was introduced during the latter half of Taken King's existence. The reason I enjoy the record book so much is that it gives Guardians more chances to have fun and to gain gear so they can bash through the new raid Wrath of the Machine. Within the record book, there are milestones for the Plaguelands, Rise of Iron story, raid, and crucibles. And every time you achieve a milestone, you gain experience points for your book's level, and each level presents you with new items to help you on your way. I have no idea if there's a super extra item you get after completing the book, but I most definitely have enough ambition and intrigue to complete it. The book adds an extra layer to the Rise of Iron experience, and one can enjoy achieving these milestones with friends or by themselves. The new weapons, armor, and artifacts have all been glorious to experience, at least the ones I've discovered so far. This aspect of a Destiny expansion has never been disappointing in my opinion, so I wasn't too worried going into this one. Some of them may look or feel the same as those from previous expansions, but their perks and abilities make up for it. As for the new Raid and Rise of Iron armor, they are nothing but things of beauty. I mean, they are gorgeous. Gorgeous! The new public hub, the Iron Temple, is an exquisite entity to look at, but doesn't offer anything that the tower can't. There are a few achievements available for Guardians to discover, particularly with playing a specific tune with the temple's iron bells, but other than that, it's really a home away from the tower, and it's the only place you can get the new Iron Lord bounties, which you need to complete in order to receive the raid quest. This brings me to Wrath of the Machine, the new raid.
Holy we're at the
We're never gonna
spiky
turn
thing.
that. Not yet.
There we go.
There you
Good guys, good. Woo! Hey, we were kicking ass on the right side. I'm so. Oh, sweet. Thank you. Ooh, legendary engram.
Okay.
On what? What'd I do? Oh, did I bump you? I'm sorry.
That was
Oh, my bad. I didn't even know. I think we have to build something here, cause that's what the quest says. Okay, looks like the tracks are electrified.
A lot of bad guys over here, and they're all red for me.
Oh, they're red for me too. Yo, this is cool though. I like this. Oh God. It's our friend.
Finally,
Guys.
At the time of this review, my friends and I have yet to complete the raid. We all have day jobs, and most of us aren't close enough to the recommended light level of 370, so it's only proper for us to gradually progress through trying to break the puzzles that are the bosses. The raid starts off like all the others. You have to face a mini boss / challenge in order to actually enter the raid, but Wrath of the Machine has my favorite opening out of all of the raids. It's fast-paced, fun, and requires organization and cooperation with your fire team. The first boss feels like a classic Destiny raid boss, but there are several little new features you have to pay attention to while fighting hordes of enemies and fighting the boss, so while it is semi-recycled, it still feels like a fresh experience. The second boss is as far as my team has gotten, and the best way to describe it is this. It's the most creative and ingenious boss fight Destiny has given its community. Destiny has always had a problem with being an MMORPG that didn't necessarily feel like an MMORPG, but the second boss of Wrath of the Machine has most definitely turned Destiny in the right direction of being referred to as an MMORPG. Remember when I said there are several quests, bosses, and strikes that are possible to beat at lower light levels, but only if you incorporate great strategy and teamwork? Well, this raid's opening and first two bosses are possible if you are under the recommended light level. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to take focus, strategy, and incredible teamwork. I am very lucky to have the friends I have on Xbox, because we're all in our 350s, but we've been absolute badasses in this raid. Yet, that fact doesn't mean the raid or any part of Rise of Iron is easy. The splicers might be augmented versions of the Fallen, making you feel like nothing will be different. That can't be any further from the truth.
This fucking guy is stuck. God damn it.
The splicers suck to fight at times. One of the reasons being, Destiny has always promoted precision kills, headshots, as an efficient way to take down enemies, but getting a precision kill on a splicer creates a chance for a tracking grenade to shoot out of their bodies and follow you around. And those grenades hurt a squishy 355 like me in the raid. My reaction of completing the Nightfall at the beginning of this review is proof of how difficult the features of Rise of Iron can be, and even some of the old hard mode story missions are surprisingly more difficult than they used to be. This is mainly because I'm not a high enough light level to breeze through the game yet, but I am enjoying the gradual process of getting from level 330 to 370. If everyone could be 370 at the end of the main questline, then the game wouldn't be as fun, and no one would be enticed to try out the new and old features of Destiny. Yes, it is frustrating to level up so slowly, unless you've got friends who can carry you through the raid, but just like any boss in a Dark Souls game, the long, hard journey will be absolutely worth it when you dive over the finish line. My rating for gameplay is a 4 out of 5.
But armor is enhanced, weapons have been modified, cybernetic enhancements.
I'll be honest, the main story questline of Rise of Iron is extremely short. I wasn't expecting anything as extensive as Taking Kings, but it still is kind of disappointing when you've only played 6 or 7 short missions and it's already over. They are short, but they are excellent. Rise of Iron's quests, with their level designs and excellent cutscenes, keep the same entertaining ball rolling that Taken King pushed to a start. I just wish it was a little bit longer. But who is to say there won't be more quests after the hard mode of the raid has been released? Plus, after completing the Iron Lord's bounties, I was given a quest to defeat the boss of the raid, so I don't know what's going to happen after that. By completing the main story, some side quests pop up, allowing you to get a few of the latest exotic weapons and armor. There's nothing else that really pushes you further along what I would like to call a linear plotline, but as a Guardian, you know you're doing these quests in order to get to the climax of the story, which is the last boss of Wrath of the Machine. The lack of a rich plotline does bum me out, but the new missions are so much fun that I don't mind replaying them on normal or hard mode. I especially don't mind helping my friends through them, which is something I had a problem with in vanilla Destiny, since most of those missions sent me to sleep. My rating for story and side quests is a 3 out of 5.
It's supposed to be dead. And there's something odd in the energy signature.
We thought we were indestructible. The Lords of Iron. We swore we would do anything to protect the last city.
The characters and voice acting are probably the most disappointing aspects of Rise of Iron, but that's not because of their quality. It's because of their quantity more than anything. Lord Saladin is the main NPC you interact with, but we've been talking to him since the first Iron Banner event. Keith Ferguson's voice work as Lord Saladin is stellar in the new cutscenes and quest snippets, but there's not enough of it for me to flood this category rating with points. The writing team did an excellent job with helping players sympathize with their Iron Banner contact, yet that's pretty much the gist of what we get for new characters and voice acting. There are other new characters, but they are all one-dimensional substitutes for the NPCs in the Tower and Reef. The Tower is still the main central hub for all Guardians, which is not a bad thing at all. I just wish more empathetic and fertile characters were added to the universe. My rating for characters and voice acting is a 2 out of 5.
I am all that remains.
The single greatest aspect of Rise of Iron. I won't spend too much time on this one because there's only so much I can say to praise these orchestrations. I'm a sucker for amazing soundtracks. If a great movie has a terrible soundtrack, I'll most likely hate the entire thing. If a terrible game has a fantastic soundtrack, then I'll give it a little more praise than it may deserve. Music breathes life into all mediums of visual entertainment, and Rise of Iron's soundtrack turned the already great experiences into exceptional ones. Take a listen to it on iTunes or wherever you get your music. I guarantee it'll send some kind of interest into your veins and you'll want to become an Iron Lord. My rating for the music is a 5 out of 5, hands down. Other than a few model glitches and random fireteam disconnections, there hasn't been anything too substantial in this department. The reason I give the rating I do is because the bugs and glitches that are present are the types gamers have come to expect from new releases. It has been a while since I've played a new release that felt like the final product. Back in the days of PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64, the game you got was the game you got, and rarely did I experience the amount of glitches and bugs new releases have these days. Old games felt like they were played and fixed until they were as good as they were going to get. Sadly, in some cases, new games feel like they were shoved out the door without receiving its final polish, which cheapens the initial product regardless if you fix them later with patches. For Rise of Iron, the expansion does feel polished, unlike its vanilla base game, but there are just instances here and there that make players say, well, that'll be fixed in a patch. But those are words that should never come out of a gamer's mouth. My rating for bugs and glitches is a 3 out of 5.
You two, where the f*** is that ogre's dead body? Where's that piece of shit?
If it hasn't been evident so far, I've been enjoying the ever-loving ghost shell out of Rise of Iron. This expansion pushes players to work together and strategize in all aspects of the game, whether that's for quests, strikes, the raid, or finding Siva clusters, it doesn't matter. You'll want to experience the expansion with your fellow Guardians, which is my preferred way of playing. I've always been a team player more than a lone wolf, so using actual teamwork in a game like Destiny is a blessing, not a hassle. Is this expansion better than the Taken King? I honestly can't make that decision until I've completed the raid and all of its challenge modes, which won't happen until the upcoming months. But with how the second boss of Wrath of the Machine is panning out, this smaller expansion might surely take the throne from its massive predecessor.
Hang on, there's a dude over here.
There's worrisome thoughts.
My rating for the entertainment value is a 4 out of 5.
Got him.
For this expansion, and Destiny as a whole, the replay value falls under the same category as creating a new character and starting fresh. I've always been a one-character kind of guy, that way I don't have to go back and do all the work again. This is mainly because I don't have the time to play through an MMO 3 different times. With that said though, Rise of Iron has semi-captivated me into perhaps one day creating a Titan to go along with my beautiful Warlock. As for coming back and playing through the new special events, strikes, and raid with my friends for months and months, I'll honestly probably be around longer with Rise of Iron. Usually with the Destiny expansion, I play until I've exhausted all the new features and only return for events like Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris. But there's something telling me I'll be hopping on Destiny for more random Tuesdays than I ever have before. My rating for the replay value is a 3 out of 5. My final score for Destiny Rise of Iron is a 3.4 out of 5. It's a solid expansion that has further pushed Destiny into the realm of great games, a feat no one saw coming after the game's vanilla release. My wishes for a richer story and a plethora of new characters weren't met, but the game's new offerings and additions to the old ones keep this expansion afloat in icy waters. It's definitely worth the $30 price tag, and I can't wait to see you join the ranks of the Iron Lords and take down the Siva threat plaguing Earth. This is Matt Brunhofer with GamingFad, and thank you for watching my review of Destiny Rise of Iron. Stay sexy.